Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explain the last topic in the unit 4, which is part 2, which is encapsulating objects in the context. In my previous video, I explained about the model reasoning, what is the model logic and how we'll be using this model logic in the context. Now let's understand what is encapsulation in the context. Let's start. So, in general, what is encapsulation? So it's like a medicine where it will be in the form of this shape. Yes or no? So the medicines will be there inside. The what are the medicines over here will be there inside the encapsulator. Yes or no? So inside the encapsule, the medicine which is there, it will be there. So why it is encapsulated? Because to protect the medicine. Okay, some medicines will be so powerful they have to not expose to the environment. So some medicines will be in this format, like it will be encapsulated. The medicine will be there in the capsule itself. We have to take the whole capsule. As soon as similarly, what is encapsulating the objects? I think in the programming language also you have a concept of encapsulation in the OOPS. So what is that? Encapsulation means in general you relate to in general meaning so that you can understand what is the correct exact meaning in this KRR subject. So in general it's like a medicine where we'll be using some medicines to protect from the environment. Yes or no, it is covered with a capsule. Okay, that is a meaning in general. Now let's understand what is the exact meaning in the context. What is the meaning of encapsulation in the context? Now let's start. So encapsulating objects within a context is a fundamental accept of knowledge representation. So, and that allows what organization, management, and the reasoning about the knowledge. So they will be organizing means they will be keeping the particular object in a correct order, organized way, and they will be maintaining, manage all the things in a కరెక్ట్ వే, లైక్ అన్నిటిని ఒక కరెక్ట్ వేలో మేనేజ్ చేస్తారు. ఆర్గనైజింగ్ అంటే ఒక కరెక్ట్ స్ట్రక్చర్డ్ వేలో పెడతారు. దెన్ రీజనింగ్ అంటే మీకు ఆల్రెడీ తెలుసు, దే విల్ బీ సాల్వింగ్ ద కాంప్లెక్స్ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్. So about the knowledge, what the knowledge we have, they will be doing organizing the particular thing and they will be managing. At the same time, they will be using the reasoning steps also. So these three things will be used in the knowledge విత్ ఇన్ ద స్పెసిఫిక్ డొమైన్. అంటే దానికి ఉన్న స్పెసిఫిక్ డొమైన్ బేస్డ్ మీద ఈ 3 స్టెప్స్ అనేవి చేస్తారు. ఆర్గనైజేషన్, మేనేజ్మెంట్, రీజనింగ్ అనేది చేస్తారు ఒక పర్టికులర్ డొమైన్ మీద, నాలెడ్జ్ మీద. ఓకే, పర్టికులర్ డొమైన్ నాలెడ్జ్ మీద. ఓకే, ఐ థింక్ యూ అండర్స్టూడ్. నౌ this encapsulation ensures the objects and the relationship between the localized within the well-defined context, enabling the modularity, abstraction, and effective reasoning. So what they are saying? So here in the normally in the programming language, the variables and the methods of the variables will be encapsulated into the one thing. But here in the KRR subject, the objects and their relationships will be encapsulated. So what are the objects? Objects is nothing but the real world example and their relationship between them. So that will be encapsulated into the one encapsular. Okay, they will be protecting the objects and the related to the relationship among the objects will be in the one encapsule. I think you understood. So what will be there in the encapsulator? So the objects will be there and their relationship, what is the relation between the objects, will be encapsulated. Okay, now within well-defined context, there will be in the well-defined context. Context means nothing but the paragraph. In my previous videos I am continually explaining what is the meaning of context. So well-defined information, or we can say well-defined paragraph, and enabling the modeling and abstraction. Okay, you know what is abstraction? What is abstraction? You will be understanding. But as of now, abstraction means hiding the information. Next, effective reasoning. So the reasoning means, you know what is the solving the complex problem. So that will be effectively done. Next, these things will be allocated in the encapsulation. I think you understood till here. The introduction of the encapsulation in the KRR. What is the introduction? So first, in the encapsulation, what are the things are involved? Objects and the relationship will be encapsulated in the one encapsular. Next, how they're arranged? They're arranged in the organization form and correct way, and they will be maintained, and reasoning the knowledge what is there within the particular domain. Next, what are the particular things which are allocated well defined information, and it will be enabling the modeling. And abstraction means what is the important data only they will be keeping in the encapsule, and in unnecessary things or unwanted things they will not keep in the encapsule. They will be avoiding or preventing the unnecessary things. Only the important things, necessary things will be keeping. They will be keeping in the encapsulator. Okay. And effective reasoning. So the reasoning will be also done effectively. Okay. This is nothing but the encapsulation. Okay. Now I think you understood in brief what is the encapsulation, how we'll be using this encapsulation in the context. Now let's understand some steps. So yeah, the first one is encapsular abstraction. Before only I said here only what is encapsulation, hiding the unnecessary information. Only the important, they will be focusing on the important information only. Unnecessary things they will not bother. So now let's understand first what is the contextual abstraction. Encapsulating objects within the context involves abstracting them into the context specific entities, or we can say elements. So it is a contextual abstraction. So the data which is the context, the information which is there, it will be in the form of a context specific. So which is the specific information, which is the relevant information, which is the necessity information only they will be keeping. Unnecessary information they will be leaving. So they are saying like context specific entities means only the specific information only. So it is like context specific entity. Next, each context defines its own set of objects, properties, and the relationship. So for every context, they will be having their own set of objects and properties and the relationship. Yes or no? And providing a distinct perspective on the underlying domain. So according to the particular domain, there will be different set of objects, properties, and the relationship between the different contexts. All the contexts cannot have the same properties or same relationship or the same data. So they will be different among the different context. It will be varying among the context to the context. Okay. Next, this abstraction facilitates modularization, modularization and encapsulation of the knowledge. Modularization and the encapsulation of the particular information will be facilitated into the abstraction concept. What are the things are facilitated? Modularization and encapsulation. Next, allowing the isolation of objects and their associated information within the specific context. Why they are always specifying like specific context, specified data, specific element, specific entity means what? They will be only focus on specific information only. They will not bother for unnecessary information. They will be focusing on necessary specific information only. I think you got the clarity of what is the contextual abstraction. Contextual abstraction is nothing but they will be focusing on the specific entity only. Okay, remember blindly. Next, what is the contextual boundaries? What is a boundary? In general, what is a boundary? So boundary is nothing but it's like a limit. We cannot cross the boundary. We cannot cross that particular limit. Yes or no? We'll say like that. Now let's understand what is the contextual boundaries. Defines the scope. Means what? Boundary is nothing but the scope. We have to be in the scope only. We have to not cross the scope. Yes or no? Scope of the each context. So if we take a particular context, we have to be in the boundary only. We have to be in the particular scope only. Then objects within the context are encapsulated within the boundaries. So it's the concept of encapsulation. So this encapsulating these objects which are there, the in the encapsulation of KRR, the objects are encapsulated, as I know, which I said before only. So this, what the objects are encapsulated, they will be in the under the boundary only, they cannot cross their boundary. Okay, ensuring that they are applicable within the context, they will be seeing that they are appropriate to the context or not, they are correct or consistent or correct, they will be seeing that it is appropriate to the context, appropriate to the information, as or no. Yes. So contextual boundaries helps prevent overlap between the objects. Some objects can overlap, yes or no. So the one object can have the same entity and one more object also can have the same entity, means two objects can have the single result. So at that time the overlap can happen. So this overlap will be prevented by using this boundaries, contextual boundaries. By using these boundaries, this overlap problem will be prevented, okay, from the different context. So why they will be using this? For the consistency, to get the correct result. So if you use the two different contexts or two different information for the same result, then the both things will be overlap. We cannot estimate that which context will go to the result. Why? Because both the context will have the same result. As you know, at that time we cannot provide the correct result for the both. So it should be the correct result, so that the contextual boundaries are used. Now let's understand what is the contextual independence. Next, contextual independence means encapsulating objects within the context promotes contextual independence. So this encapsulation concept will be having contextual independence. Why? What is contextual independence? So they will be independent between the two contexts. The two contexts cannot overlap, as on which I said before only. So they are independent to one another. So they are saying that only. And whereby knowledge within the one context is associated from the knowledge in other context, means the knowledge which is there in the particular context cannot overlap or cannot be depend on the other context, as or no. So each context operates automatically with its own set of, so each and every context will be having its own set of objects, properties and the relationship. It cannot overlap, it is independent. Okay, this contextual independence enabled. So by using this contextual independence, what will happen to the context? Modularization, reusability. Okay, we can reuse the thing. If suppose if we have the same information from the one context to other context, by using just the domain name, by specifying the domain name, we can use the thing in the next context. No need to write entire information again in the next context. By specifying the name of the context, we can use in the other context. So they are saying the reusability and the scalability of the knowledge representation systems. As so no, they will not affect others. So it will not affect others. So that's why they are saying that the context should be independent from the one context to the other context. Next, what is the contextual hierarchy? So what is meant by hierarchy in the general? Hierarchy is like a tree structure. Yes or no? It's like a tree structure, you know. So suppose we have one node here, and for this one node, again the two childrens will be there, and this child one will be having again three childrens. The child two can have more three childrens, and the child one can have more two childrens. So in this way, we can extend this hierarchy. We can extend this tree. Yes or no? So similarly, in this KRR, what is the contextual hierarchy? Objects within the context may exhibit hierarchical relationship. So hierarchical relationship means in this way, like a tree-like structure. So where higher level context encapsulate lower level context. So suppose this is the higher level context. So this higher level context will be decomposed or decreased to the lower level context. So suppose the topmost one is the higher level context, and this will be flowing towards the lower level context, yes or no? So by seeing this diagram, you can understand. So this hierarchical structure allows for the composition of complex knowledge representation from the simpler means what? So the complex context, if we have a complex context, by using this hierarchy structure, we can make that complex construct to the simpler one. Yes or no? So suppose if we have this example only, if we want to write this in the form of a context, it will be in the form of a passage. So we cannot understand. But if we transfer that passage into this hierarchical tree structure, we can understand by seeing that we can understand it easily. So it is simple. Yes or no? As compared to the passage which is there in the context format. So I think that only. Okay. So if contextual hierarchical facilitates abstraction and decomposition of the knowledge, and it will be enabling the representation of the complex domains. So what are the complex domains or complex context which are there that will be decomposed or it will be transferred into the simpler format like a tree like structure. By seeing we can understand so what is the main domain in the particular context. So next one is contextual interaction. So what is the contextual interaction? So what is the interaction in general? So first relate the particular topic in general so that you can understand the main aspect of that particular thing, and you can interlink with the concept which is there in the KRR subject. So what is the interaction in the general? Interaction means interacting with one and one. Yes or no? So we have a person A and person B. So they will be both interacting with each other. They will be knowing each other. Like the person A can know about the B and the person B know about the A. So they will be, by communicating only, they can understand one on one. Yes or no? So interaction. They will be interacting with one and one. Okay. Now let's understand what is the meaning of contextual interaction in the KR. All through objects are encapsulated within the context, we know. So this what are the objects and their relationships are there, they will be encapsulated in the one encapsulator. Okay. Interaction between the context means one context to another context, some interlink like interconnection. So are, so these things are used, why they are using this interaction between the two contexts. So if some, with the same example, let's take the context A and the context B. The context A want to know about the context B and context B want to know about the context A. So how they can interlink, how they can communicate by interacting with each other. Yes or no? Similarly, why they have to use the interaction between the both for the problem solving. Yes or no? To solve the particular problem, if A have any problem, by saying to the B, B can with their B, with the knowledge what the B have, it can solve the problem of A. Similarly, so they can interact and solve the problems what they have. Okay. Next, contextual interaction enables the exchange of information. Okay, we can exchange the information which I said now only. So the information, the problem which the A can have, they can say to the B, so that the B can solve the problem and say to the A. So they will be exchanging the information. So dependencies and references between the different contexts. So suppose context A, context B, they will be exchanging the information and solve the problems, and allowing for the integration and coordination of the knowledge for the multiple perspectives. So if we have multiple contexts, by interacting with each other, they can solve the problems. Next, contextual interaction supports the task such as, what are the tasks which will be, which it can have context switching. So context switching means they will be switching the context. Switching is nothing but the exchange of information only. Next, context merging. Merging means also same, similar. Context alignment. So alignment means anything we have any mistakes, they will be aligning. Yes or no? So alignment is nothing but they will be setting that into the correct format. Yes or no? Next, these are the facilities which we can see in this thing. Even we can make some decision. Yes or no? So by interacting with each other, we can get one decision. We can make one decision, and we can solve the problem, and even we can make some decisions. Yes or no? So by this we have so many facilities. By using this contextual interaction, so we'll be having so many facilities. Okay. Now let's understand the small example so that you can understand about this concept more clearly. Consider the knowledge-based representation information, the university environment. Okay, they are taking the example of the university. So what are the things, what are the objects we can find in the university? Students, course, professors, these are some objects they are considered in the one university can be encapsulated within specific context. So these students, courses, and the professors are encapsulated into some specific context itself. So what are the specific contexts we can say? Like academic department. Okay. So suppose students related to some specific department, courses, and professors, like it will be encapsulated into the specific context. Each context defines its own set of objects. So students will be having some set of objects, their properties and the relationships and the courses and the professors. So each object will be having the different set of properties and the relationship among them, and the encapsulating the knowledge relevant to its domain. So what is the relevant domain, or what is the relevant information they will be taking? No, for instance, the computer science department, let's take the computer science department. Okay, context may encapsulate an object related to the computer science course. Okay, like computer science department means the computer science department comes under the computer science course, yes or no? So the computer science department will goes to the computer science course, it will be encapsulated into the computer science course, and so on. So faculty members and the research projects, and the while student service officers, context may encapsulate objects related to the student enrollment. So the information related to the student will be encapsulated into the student and thing, student object, and the course related thing will be going to the course object, and the professors related thing, the professors related context or information will goes to the professors object, yes or no? So the data which is related to the particular object will goes to, it will be encapsulated into the particular object, yes or no? So we are saying that only. So that's it, and the students records that. Yeah, by this example you can understand more clearly. So we have three departments where, like, three objects, which is students, courses, and the professors. The data which is related to the school students will goes to the students encapsule, and the data which is related to the courses will goes to the course object, and the professors related data will goes to the professors object. So the depending upon the data, it goes to the particular objects, and it will be encapsulated into the one entity or one object, one unit also we can say. So that's it about this video. I think you understood about this encapsulation and this thing, and some concepts which are there in the encapsulator, like abstraction, boundary, independence, hierarchy, interaction, which is very important. And with this small example you can understand more clearly about this encapsulation, how we'll be using this thing in the context. By this we can end this fourth unit, which is part 2, and till now we completed the 4 units. So unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and unit 4. So almost we have completed the 70% of our syllabus is completed. And still, if you have any doubts, please mention in the comment section. I will be definitely solve your doubts. Don't worry about the subject, it is very easy. If you understand the basic concept, it is dead easy. You can write very well in the examinations. Okay, don't worry about the subject. Okay, just go through the main, what is the main concept, just go through the concept. You can write by your own, don't buttify each and every line, just go through the concept and write by your own. So that makes you more facility. So if you learn this all things, it is so lengthy. The see, if we start this concept over here, it will be ending here. So if you read line by line, it is so hectic to you to learn, to remember the whole side headings and the information which is. So that's why I'm always spinning that, just understand the concept and remember the side headings, just to remember the side headings and understand the concept, so that you can write by your own. Don't get tension and panic before the exam. Okay, just remember the concept, just remember the concept, that's it, not more than that. Just remember. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let's meet in next video.